Hey, so let's do a little bit of replay analysis. This is going to be Rose versus Akuma. Before we start, I want to make sure to remind you guys that whenever you're viewing a replay, make sure you turn on key display and your attack frame data so we can make sure we learn about, win situations, when you're plus, when you're minus, whether you could have reacted differently in different situations. Always an important tool when you're watching a replay. And also, before we get started, I want to go ahead and say I watched a few of your replays versus a couple of different characters to get a feel for what your play style is with Rose. And the biggest things I noticed were you really don't use Heavy Punch almost at all, which needs to change because Heavy Punch is her best button. You do a lot of neutral jump heavy kick, which can be a strong tool, but I think you're overusing it and abusing it, and I think we'll see that in this match a little bit. And also, I think we just need to make sure we apply pressure and don't throw our resources away too much. So there's maybe 4 key points there. I'll kind of circle back to some of them as we watch this round, and then after this round, we'll watch a game that I had against an Akuma to sort of see where the differences lie. So we'll move through this one pretty quickly, but I will stop at a couple of key points to sort of talk about neutral strategy and pressure and that kind of thing. So. One of the big things we'll see a couple of times here is Rosa has really good fireball game, right? She's a fireball throwing character. She's a zoner in some respects. But you have to remember that her fireballs are kind of slow, and also her recovery is pretty significant. So if you throw a fireball at a range where a character can react to it, like Akuma can with his Tatsu, you might find yourself getting punished. So after this interaction here, when you were a little, kind of close to 3/4 screen, or almost full screen, he did that preemptively, this Tatsu, but he also could have reacted to it and still punished you here. So just be careful. When you're throwing fireballs, make sure you kind of mix your timings up, and don't throw too many fireballs at about 3/4 screen distance, right? Round start distance and closer, good to go. Full screen, you're probably fine, but that kind of in-between range, characters can react to it, either with a meterless or a metered option, like Jury or, Cammy or some other characters. So he throws you back into neutral, and let's kind of see how the round goes. I'm not sure if you reacted to that red fireball, but it was a good jump, but I want to see a better combo here, right? So you did a pretty good amount of damage, right? 170 damage is not terrible. But if you had gone for maybe a crouching medium kick into a medium spiral, you would have also had advantage and corner carry. As it stands, this just goes back to neutral. So make sure if you're going to take a jump opportunity with Rose, you need to get some good damage out of it. I like the fireball, and I like taking up screen space. He then went for like a kind of a crazy DP, so, that happens. If you notice somebody is going to go for these meterless DPs in neutral, definitely just try to bait them out, especially Akuma. He can only really make 1 or 2 mistakes like that in a round before you basically always win. Maybe some other characters can do this, like, the Ryus or the Cammys of the world, more traditional rushdown characters. But a blocked light or a hit, a light that hits somebody into a jump going for a cross-up is not really what Rose does well, right? She has a pretty slow jump. She has a pretty funky jump arc, which makes hitting cross-ups kind of difficult, especially at ranges where you just hit a light button. So maybe after a blocked crouching medium kick or a forward medium kick, something like that, you could go for this kind of cross-up attempt. But a better Akuma here would cross-cut DPU, and overall the jump-in whiffed. So don't go for that too often. It's not particularly strong, and Rose doesn't need that kind of offense to kind of assert her dominance on a round. Here's the first appearance we have of the neutral jump heavy kick. Neutral jump heavy kick can be a very strong tool, especially against characters that have things like rush punch or scissor kicks from Bison. But the problem is, Rose has a really slow jump. And this Akuma had all day to visually confirm that you were jumping and either DP or, in this case, hit you with an anti-air button, which I think he can cancel into Demon Flip here. I'm not really sure what all of Akuma's options are, but overall, you really got punished for doing that, and it didn't really cover a whole lot of options. If instead, you had hit heavy punch here, and then either try to confirm that into a spiral or into a light fireball, you would have been in a much safer position, right? You're asserting your will at a distance where Akuma can't really challenge you very much, except to counter poke you or something like that, but, you know, that's kind of the back and forth of neutral. In this situation, I would have liked to see either a crouching medium kick, a crouching medium punch, or a heavy punch. Good scarf. Great scarf, actually. But then you are going for a manually timed meaty. Remember, after you do a scarf, you can do one dash forward, and then you are still plus. In that situation, you should be doing some sort of Oki setup. There's lots of those in the Discord and on YouTube videos, but the main ones are crouching light kick and a stand jab, or maybe you know, a heavy kick or something like that. Instead, you go for the manually timed meaty, which you do get, and you confirm into the correct combo, so that's nice. You remember, after heavy punch spiral, you get 2 dashes, right? You're actually plus enough where you get 2 dashes after heavy punch spiral, and that should be your go-to Oki every time. Instead, you only do 1 dash, and he back rolls and he's out. I like that medium punch. I didn't like the heavy kick. Again, this is a situation where instead of this neutral jump heavy kick, I want to see you use a heavy punch. This should be heavy punch into fireball. Not a big fan of that sweep. You have the life lead. No need to take risks like that. No need to really throw that meter away there. I don't necessarily hate EX fireball in neutral, but I would rather do it, you know, buffered from a crouching medium kick or buffered from a heavy punch, to at least give you an option to hit confirm that. Instead, you kind of lost that meter, and if you notice now, you don't have any meter to do like an EX reversal or something like that, or EX soulbind anti-air. This is also, it's another range here where, you know, you can't hit him with medium punch or crouch medium punch here. Maybe if he dashes at you, but this is heavy punch range. This is where you need to be, heavy punch is your bread and butter button here. Instead, he whiff punishes your stand medium punch. You get thrown, and now you're kind of officially in the danger zone, right? You throw your meter away again on this kind of wake up EX fireball idea. I would just kind of scrap that. I don't think you need to be doing that too often on wake up. It wouldn't have killed here, and also the reward is not really that high, especially when you really want to save that bar just in case you have an opportunity to use EX spiral. You could have canceled that sweep to make it safe, but you did not and got punished for it. You could have punished that sweep with your sweep, but did not. You did a dash up and mash throw a bunch of times, I guess because your idea was, well, I need to stop this round from, you know, falling out of my grip. But in your head, you said, I want to do dash up throw. Once that plan didn't work out because he got you with the crouching medium kick, you should have just blocked. Or done something into, you know, V-trigger activation. Instead, you go for the spiral, but, you know, I don't know if that was a misinput or whatever, but really you should have been waiting there. So let's see how we adjust. Again, Akuma actually walked back into the positioning on screen where he can react to your fireballs. So you got to be careful about that, especially once he's shown you he's trying to react to your fireballs. That was a good crouching heavy punch, though. Don't like that neutral jump and don't like that sweep. That was a nice walk under, but then you missed the combo, unfortunately. That was a good throw. That was good walk-up pressure, although you... once he kind of blocks a medium punch, especially when you get like kind of max distance medium punch, you really don't have the ability to walk up on a throw. Her walk speed's too slow. Nice anti-air. Yeah, that happens to Rose because of the way her anti-air air resets. Sometimes you're just going to eat an EXDP after an anti-air. It's unfortunate. Now, you got to remember, after Akuma does EXDP and dashes forward, if you see that dash, he is actually punishable here at -4. You got to make sure you don't let them get extra turns here because he just stole that turn from you. In fact, you got to punish. No reason to back jump here, right? You're just kind of losing screen space. The round's not in that dire straits right now. You're pretty even on resources. You're pretty even on life because Akuma has low life as well. Back jump isn't ever really going to do anything for you here, especially back jump heavy kick. I would have just held your ground. All right, so we do another sweep that gets you punished. At this point, you got to recognize that he's looking for your sweep. He's not going to be caught by it. If you're not going to cancel it and make it safe at V-Trigger, you should probably just kind of tone it down and give him some other looks. Alright, navigating some red fireballs. I like the soul punish there. I don't like throwing the EX fireball because, again, meter is important, and that didn't really do a whole lot for you. You could have thrown a regular fireball and then maybe gone for an EX soul punish, or set up a V-Trigger V-Skill orb. But you are doing a good job of kind of full screen zoning. But then you jump. So this kind of full screen zoning plan was working great for you. There was no reason to jump here and take this giant risk because you get punished for it. He gets you again. You got lucky on the throw. I don't mind the raw activate. Unfortunately, I don't think this mix-up is really going to do much, especially obviously because he teleports out. But I'm not sure that's a real setup there. Now, when he does this teleport, this has got to be a combo for the game. This has got to be stand, medium punch, crouch, medium punch, EX spiral, or target combo into EX bind. Got to get something better than throw. And then a kind of scrambly end of the round. So, you know, we're kind of seeing some different ideas here, but we're still kind of having issues where even when you find advantage states, like when you're full screen zoning, you're kind of throwing those away by wasting meter or kind of jumping when it doesn't really call for it. All right, we're playing some 3/4 screen neutral. That's the third time or fourth time that he's been able to kind of tatsu on reaction, so we need to adjust our game plan here if he's going to be looking for that. Another neutral jump into sweep. We really just got to stop doing that, I think. Another jump. Everybody's kind of scrambling. He gets you with a confirm. At this point, I feel like we're just kind of in scramble mode. He gets a good combo. And we're in dire straits. This is punishable. It's -12. You get a good punish, but you probably could have got a better one. I think you probably could have gone for crushing heavy punch into HP fireball, or just done target combo to get better Oki. He tags you with the EX, and at this point, the round is not really recoverable. That was a punish. Gets you again. So the biggest thing about Street Fighter, right, and fighting game in general, is you got to play the player. And so especially with this Akuma, he's showing you he's willing to wait it out and punish you for throwing fireballs at ranges where he can react to them. So if he shows you that, the reaction needs to be either changing the fireball strength, or maybe using a soul punish in neutral to throw him off. Or just stop throwing fireballs, right? Especially in this situation where you have no life. Fireballs are not going to win you the round. You have to do something else. He throws you. So overall, I mean, I think you had some good confirms there. You had some good anti-airs. I was pretty happy with your reaction to Demon Flip. I just think we're really missing some key pieces of Rose's game plan. There was very little crouching medium kick. There was no heavy punch. You have to use heavy punch. You didn't get a whole lot out of your V-Trigger, unfortunately. You didn't really use your V-Skill at all. You kind of kept throwing the same options at the Akuma, and he reacted to them better than you reacted to his options. So what we're going to do next is we'll look at a round that I played against an Akuma, and we'll sort of see what that looks like a little differently, maybe some different options that I would make in neutral. Alrighty, so here's the round that I played against an Akuma, And I think what I want us to look at for this one is some of my button choices, using more of Rose's toolkit in neutral, and then also how I apply pressure once I get a good knockdown. So what I didn't see you use a whole lot in your replays, and which you should be using a little bit more of, is forward heavy kick, right? It's her crush counter button. It allows you to crush counter people that are trying to throw fireballs against you, or maybe dash at you or something like that. And notice the range. I adjust my spacing just a little bit. He starts walking forward. He whiffs a button. At this point, lots of characters like to throw a fireball at you, right? But I know that I'm just in range to get the tip of forward heavy kick. If he had thrown a fireball, that would have been a crush counter. As it stands, I'm safe. And I'm also at a range here where post blocked button, Akuma can't really do anything against me without walking forward, right? He doesn't want to throw a fireball because I've just shown him, hey, I want to forward heavy kick you. None of his buttons reach, so he's going to try to walk forward. That's my read in neutral. So I go for a sweep here. If he had blocked that, it would have been an unsafe sweep. And he probably would have got a punish, just like in the rounds we watched for your replay. That's okay. The important thing about using sweep in neutral is recognizing the timings and the situations where sweep is strong. Sweep is strong when somebody wants to dash or walk forward on you. It's not strong when they're going to be outside of range and would, not even be within distance if they dash at you. I go for the soul punish here. Missed the anti-air, unfortunately. But this is another important piece of Rose's defensive game. Akuma's using some stagger pressure. This is really strong, especially against Rose because her walk speed is pretty poor, especially her back walk speed. What I do here, and also, let me make sure I have my key display on, is I walk back slightly and buffer a heavy spiral behind a crouching medium punch. In the situation where this crouching medium punch whiffs, I'm fine. In the situation where it's blocked, I probably get a heavy spiral on block, which is going to be bad, but again, I'm trying to set this up at a good spacing. And in the situation where I do it correctly, not only do I get good damage, I get her best knockdown situation. Double dash, I get the counter hit jab, I confirm the counter hit into the crouching medium punch, or rather I do the string of stand jab and a crouching medium punch, confirm the counter hit, and then I get the heavy spiral. I go for more pressure here, double jab, a little bit of stagger pressure, a little bit of crouching medium kick into fireball. I try to control space here because Akumas like to demon flip in this situation to get out of pressure or jump and do something. That was probably for sure punishable. He's just kind of afraid right now. And now I back up. So I pressed my advantage. I got some good damage. I moved him into the corner. I went for a pretty risky back heavy kick. It didn't work out. I'm fine. I'm chilling at this point. There's no reason for me to press my advantage. But he threw a fireball. I see he throws the fireball, and in my head I'm thinking, that's not how this is going to go. Here's another forward heavy kick. Here's another forward heavy kick because he went for the EX Demon. React with the anti-air. Go for some sort of setup. In this case, I went for forward heavy kick into orb because my thinking being, if you activate right now and I can slide under and maybe get the orb to hit, or honestly, just apply pressure with it, like I do here, walk up, go for a little bit of pressure with the true block string of stand medium punch, crouch medium punch. At this point, he's terrified. He has no life. He cannot afford to make a mistake. He doesn't actually have any meter. He just has V-trigger. So what is he going to do? Well, the only way Akuma can make this comeback is to activate V-trigger and get some combos and start mixing me up. So I just go for the heavy punch here. It catches whatever he was doing, which it looks like was maybe medium Tatsu. I'm not really sure. And I get the win, right? So I set up myself to be in situations where my buttons are strong, where I can use my heavy punch, where I can use my forward heavy kick, where I can use sweep more effectively. Rose is really not so much about zoning as she is about using her zoning-like tools and fireballs to put yourself in very strong spacing situations, and then situations where you can react with anti-air and that kind of stuff, right? So hopefully this helped a little bit. We can look at some more replays if you'd like, or you can check out some of the other ones on my channel for some previous replays. But hopefully that helped, and I'll talk to you next time.